Support comes from the Missouri Forest Products Association, providing more than 41,000 jobs in the production of wood pallets, railroad ties, white oak barrels, hardwood floors, and more. Details at choosewood.com.
It's Monday, August 23rd. This is The Gateway. I'm Wayne Pratt. A St. Louis musician has been combining his love of lyrics, composition, arrangements, and stage presentation for years. Now, the 26-year-old is ready to showcase his artistry with an approach that prioritizes his love of performances.
In a great many of my songs is when I'm writing it, I am simultaneously either thinking about the visual component for a music video or the visual component of what I'd like that to look like on stage. That goes into the writing. It's like, oh, well, then the music needs to do this.
St. Louis musician Eldraco Price shares his artistic vision and song-making process. St. Louis Public Radio's Chad Davis will have that story in just a few minutes. Missouri is launching a program to bring regular COVID-19 testing to students in kindergarten through 12th grade. The Department of Health and Senior Services is partnering with Ginkgo Bioworks and Concentric to provide the testing. School districts throughout the state can enroll in the initiative to take nasal swabs from consenting students and run the samples together in one pool test. Department Acting Director Robert Nodell says the program will help schools provide a safe learning environment and increase confidence among parents and families. Missouri received about $185 million from the federal government to support programs that limit the spread of coronavirus in schools. More than 50 school districts throughout Illinois are on probation with the state's Board of Education for defying Governor J.B. Pritzker's school mask mandate. Also, 3 private schools could be stripped of recognition status. One has already suffered that penalty for not heeding the governor's executive order. Pritzker is defending the mask mandate and the punishments.
We are living in a very dangerous moment of coronavirus, an upswing of the Delta variant. I am deeply concerned, especially that the Delta variant is having an increasingly serious medical impact on younger people.
The governor points to places like Mississippi, where unvaccinated COVID patients have filled up every ICU bed in the state. Annie Malone Children and Family Services Center is expanding its therapeutic academy after battling coronavirus outbreaks and a lack of staff. Now, the Greaterville organization seeks to provide more preventative care services for troubled youth. St. Louis Public Radio's Andrea Henderson reports.
The Missouri Department of Social Services suspended intake in April at Annie Malone's residential treatment facility. However, the organization voluntarily decided to permanently stop its 24-hour care services for troubled youth last month. It will use the treatment center as its academy this school year. Angela O'Brien is the school superintendent. She says the expanded campus will allow Annie Malone to bring in more children who are excluded from other classrooms.
We are there for these kids because we believe in them and they deserve a second chance. And without our school, they would be at home. They'd be on the streets.
O'Brien says the academy will provide life skills classes and will offer specialized classes for children with autism. I'm Andrea Henderson, St. Louis Public Radio.
The airport at Fort Leonard Wood is getting a new airline. St. Louis Public Radio's Jonathan Ahl reports it will give military personnel and civilians another option to fly.
SkyWest Airlines, operating as United Express, will start serving the Fort Leonard Wood Airport in October with 2 daily nonstop flights to Chicago. Greg Atkin is SkyWest's Director of Market Development. He says the 50-seat regional jet service will help area residents who want to fly out of a local airport.
We are going to be able to accommodate a higher level of traffic on those peak days, and that's one of the ways that we think we can help grow the air service in the community.
SkyWest replaces Contour Airlines, which only served St. Louis with smaller planes and required passengers to transfer to other flights on their own. In Rolla, I'm Jonathan Ahl, St. Louis Public Radio.
St. Louis musician Eldraco Price has been writing and arranging his own music for years, taking influences from disco, pop, and R&B. Today, the 26-year-old is releasing his debut 5-song collection. As St. Louis Public Radio's Chad Davis reports, Price is combining his lyricism, live instrumentation, and showmanship to give listeners the complete picture of who he is.
Last summer, Eldraco Price woke up to unexpected yet welcome news. His 2020 song, Malori, I See You, was the winner of the John Lennon Song Contest Stuck at Home Award, a prestigious accolade that recognizes lyricism from musicians all over the world. It was a defining moment for the 26-year-old musician who hadn't even released a full body of music yet.
Bang, bang, you hear it. He's breaking down your bedroom door. That you remember you seen it this way before.
The song captures Price's candid storytelling capabilities, and it's the first single from his debut solo project, Free Love, an EP out today. He says getting the award was momentous, especially for an energetic song that highlights such a traumatic moment in his life.
Mallory is about domestic abuse. It was written as much for myself as it was for my mother, as it was for my grandmother, as it was for several women that I know in my life who have experienced domestic abuse, who have experienced sexual abuse, as I have.
Price wanted to use the musical tools he's learned to give the song fervor, such as live instrumentation, backing vocals, and songs arranged and written by him. His music tells personal stories, some of pain, some of perseverance, and some of love. Take his song Top of the World, which centers around a relationship and includes string arrangements written by him.
The world is such a frightening place. Even now it plays my mind. The thought of having to face it all alone makes me feel so blind. In you,
The attention to detail, Price's vocal range, and the multiple parts of his songs is what makes Price's music, well, Price's music. And he wants the listener to actually visualize the music.
And a great many of my songs is when I'm writing it, I am simultaneously either thinking about the visual component for a music video or the visual component of what I'd like that to look like on stage. That goes into the writing. It's like, oh, well, then the music needs to do this.
At its core, Price's work focuses on social commentary that also reflects on race, identity, and queerness. You can see that come together in his videos and live shows, which include elaborate set designs and his own choreography. Take the music video for Be Woke, a song he wrote last year in response to the killings of George Floyd and Breonna Taylor.
the writing's on the wall. Society's revolution's gonna end it all. Systematic American. Capitalize on suffering. Be wrong.
The visuals feature him and background performers dancing in a construction zone. It also shows news footage from the past year, highlighting the emotional toll that the killings of George Floyd and Breonna Taylor had on Black Americans.
People praise music, people praise the execution of the music, but they don't attach the performance component to that. And how much goes into that? How much craft and work goes into that?
Price says he wants listeners who hear his new music to know the importance of staying true to themselves. And at the end of the day, it's lyrics about self-expression he wants listeners to take away from his music.
And my tagline that I always say is live free, love free, be free. I think it's important to allow yourself to live in your own truth and to love yourself so you can love somebody else. And I think the world will be better for it. And that's all I'm ever trying to do.
We're different people, yet the same. Oh, we are.
It's a journey Price wants to take with his listeners, not just with this project, but throughout his career. I'm Chad Davis, St. Louis Public Radio.
Our Shula Newman edited that report. She's the executive editor of St. Louis Public Radio, a listener-supported service of the University of Missouri-St. Louis. Music by Ryan McNeely of Adult Fur. I'm Wayne Pratt. This has been The Gateway.
Support comes from the Missouri Forest Products Association. Missouri produces wood pallets, railroad ties, white oak barrels, hardwood floors, and more. Details on the variety of products made in the state are at choosewood.com.